afternoon, everybody. My name is Tatum, and I am the founder of Guardian of the Missing, Voice of the Missing. Today, we are going to speak about Brenda Sica, who went missing on July of 2017. I'm joined with Nancy Schaefer, the founder of Missing in America. She has 17 years experience of recovering missing people. Also, we are joined by Brenda's sister, Carrie. So anybody that has any questions, feel free to comment. We will answer them as soon as possible. Do you guys, Nancy, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Nancy Schaefer Fanchuli. I am the founder of Missing in America and 17 years experience of missing persons recovery. Retired.
And how about you, Carrie? Can you hear me, Carrie? Are you muted?
Mm.
Can you hear me, Carrie? Okay. Do you want to come back, go out and come back in? For some reason, I can't hear you. So while we're waiting for Carrie to come back in, I do have a missing persons flyer out. There's actually several out there on Brenda, but just to give you a little bit of information about Brenda is Brenda Sica. She's missing out of Huntsville, Alabama on July 1st of 2017. She was 43 years old at the time of her disappearance. She is now 51. She is 5 foot, 110 pounds, black hair, and brown eyes. Her hair was long with bangs at the time of her disappearance. She does have her ears pierced. She does suffer from severe anxiety and depression. She has multiple tattoos, which is a panther on her outer left leg, a female on her outer right thigh, a moon on her left shoulder, and a sun on her right shoulder, and a cross on her back of her neck. Her pictures of her tattoos are out on a flyer. She is a veteran and she had almost completed her master's degree, however, had been struggling with some depression and substance use. And she had moved from Florida to Huntsville, Alabama, working to make a change in her life. She was working as a bartender. Her as a bartender is really her main way that she was making money and stuff. So she was very social and out, in the public, and she had been in a relationship with a man named Jim. Now, Jim was a married man at the time, and he had been supporting her. He had gotten her this apartment that was at Overlook, the Overlook on Sparkman Drive. In July, which was reportedly to be paid by Jim. However, she moved out of that apartment very suddenly. She had really heavy furniture and stuff. So there's no way that Brenda could have just moved on her own or someone not noticing that she had moved at the time. So that's one thing I think really pops out to me is the fact that, I mean, somebody had to see something. I mean, she lived in an apartment complex. There's no proof of anybody helping her that we know of, despite that heavy furniture. Her family did start getting some emails from her saying that she was in Wyoming, which we'll talk about that a little bit later. And she was looking forward to coming and seeing them in January. However, the email address that she was using was very unknown to her family or to anybody that knew her. And also, it had come to a different area, but we will talk more about that email later on. Her dog that you can see pictured there, Bowie, he was missing as well, but her dog had cancer. So knowing who Brenda was, she was a very big, she loved her dogs. Like she loved her animals. She would always take care of her animals. So, possibility maybe she had taken Bowie into the vet, which has been checked out and stuff. So if you worked at a veterinary clinic or somewhere, you might have recognized Bowie or Brenda at the time. It's unknown what she was wearing. However, she always usually wore jeans and rock band logos like Metallica or Iron Maiden. We will be showing a video that I just recently released on her that will kind of show some of that stuff. So we're keeping up the contact information up here for the Huntsville, Alabama PD. Detective Gray is the detective on our case. The number is 256-427-5476. We can call Raven, who is the private investigator that is looking into our case at 910-427-0070. Carrie, are you back? Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can
Okay.
you can you hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Yes, okay.
Okay. Is there anything that you would like to say right now, or do you want like Nancy and I to kind of dig in, or just jump in whenever?
Yeah,
Yep.
you guys go ahead and, if somebody asks a question or, if I, feel the need to say something, I will.
Okay. So
We're
where do
gonna
we
be
want to start, Nancy?
sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
um, I thought it was my cue. I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
Um, we're going to be revealing some things that at this point we feel well, the private investigator feels should be released because of the wall, the kind of hit. Carrie's family had reached out to my husband and I um, after the finding Andrea and asked if we would help with Brenda's case. And Joe got very invested in it and he worked very hard. And then, of course, he got diagnosed and he made me a promise. So, um, unfortunately, we all know my circumstances with learning how to walk and stuff and do all that stuff again. Um, then we put it in the hands of a private investigator. So, because of the complexity of the case, we feel that um, the private investigator does not want her appearance to be known because I guess she's doing some undercover stuff.
Yeah.
So I offered to come out of retirement, I guess, just to discuss the case and to release some. Someone might know something.
Mhm. Well, we definitely appreciate the fact that you have came out. One thing that I definitely want to put out there, um, I am the founder of Guardian Voice of the Missing, and I will tell you, I will have no tolerance for anybody being cruel to the family, being cruel for Nancy coming out. You know, this is about finding Brenda. The whole reason that I even do what I do is because of the families and of the missing. If people want to go out and make their own little platform and bash people, then so be it, but it will not be tolerated here. So if it is not to focus on Brenda, who is missing, and give support to her
Right.
family, and support to law enforcement and the private investigator that's out there, then you can just jump right on off of here and not be involved. So if you have questions or there's something you want to say, feel free to comment. But if it's anything negative, then there's going to be a problem. So just to let that out there. So, Nancy, I really appreciate the fact that you came on here to support this family, to support law enforcement and the private investigator, and most of all, being a voice for Brenda because her case is from 2017. We do not want anybody to forget her. We want to bring her home to her family.
Right. Right.
Yes, thank you.
That's all that matters. Well, one thing
Yeah.
I pointed out that we discussed is um, one thing is Brenda signed up to risk her life for this country. Military was something I take very serious. My
Hmm.
father was military. Um, my husband Joe, who just recently passed away, um, was 30 years retired military. He was a master. He retired as a master sergeant. So um, what I struggle with is watching this case is the lack of interest from people. But I think it's because there's really not a lot of information out there for people to go on. That's why we're going to release a little bit here that will not jeopardize the investigation whatsoever. Because maybe something in the email, things that she was explaining or where she was, and someone might know. Someone that area might know and say, "Oh, I remember that girl." Like there's
Hmm.
certain things that I think can be released. And this is my own opinion that won't jeopardize it. And she signed up fought, risk her life for us. Why are we not fighting for her?
Absolutely. And
It's beyond me.
the private investigator too is okay, as well as law enforcement, with some of these details being
Yeah.
released in the
Hmm.
hope. So everybody needs to know that the private investigator is very much working with law enforcement, working with the family and stuff. So this information has been okay to be released and stuff in hopes that something, because there has been some new developments actually last year on her case that everybody was kind of surprised that came out, but it's definitely helping connect those dots of where she may or may not have went to.
Significant movement within the case, absolutely.
Yeah. So do you want me to go ahead? I'm not going to read everything from the email. I'm going to kind of take some of it out that they did not want shared. Are
You
we
want to
ready to?
start with who we're looking for first? There is someone, maybe we should
Oh
discuss
yeah,
that. And
definitely.
I'm willing to do whatever you want to, but we want to know, we're going to be
Yeah.
covering, we're looking for a female that may
Yeah.
have, well, we know was with Brenda, um, at least by June 5th, maybe even June 1st, we can put the
Mhm.
timeline evidence. But I'm going to let you go
Okay.
on to do your things. And then when you need me to jump in, I'll jump in.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the first female that the private eye and the law enforcement has been wanting to make contact with, because she was known to be one of the last individuals to be around her. And when I say around her, we're talking, within a month, 2 month span, whatever out there. But we know that she definitely had contact with Brenda, not just through the internet or through phones, but physically had been around her. And there is proof of it. So Sandra North is an individual who is known to be transient. So she has moved around. She has been anywhere from Alabama, Oregon, Washington, Indiana, Illinois, and Arizona.
Mhm.
She has actually, has pulled charges in some of these multiple states where she lives pretty transit, type of lifestyle. The last location that we have known, and I think it's okay to go ahead and release this, is Indiana. And she's also been in Illinois. But Indiana is one of the last places that she's known to be. And this is the place that she seems to keep going back to. This is where she's originally from and stuff, but she has family up in even Wisconsin, so she has been around multiple states. So she moves a lot. So one thing I really want to make clear about Sandra North is she is not a person of interest. That is not why law enforcement wants to talk to her. That is not why the private investigator wants to talk to her. It's the simple fact that we know that she was friends with Brenda, that she had contact with Brenda, and we're hoping that she has some information that is out there. It's a dire need because we have also found out that she has cancer or is ill, and so the time is the essence for somebody to come forward. So if there's a family member out there, please let her come forward. No one's trying to jam her up in Brenda's case. We just need to talk to her about what information she may have with her.
My concern with this is we did speak to some of her family members,
Mhm.
and I know the private investigator that's working heavy on this case spoke to her family members. She has claimed to not know Brenda. She has claimed to have never seen Brenda, which we know when we have the evidence of the contrary. Actually, from June 1st on, she was in Tennessee with Brenda. And we have
Mhm.
the evidence from Brenda's email with even photos that Brenda took from her phone. So
Mhm.
that is a lie. We don't know why she's lying, but I'm begging because we just want to bring her home. Even
Mhm.
though I'm physically not working the case anymore, that it's in the hands of a private investigator. We have put a lot of time and effort into this case, and my husband was very emotionally invested into this case. And I just think that she should do the right thing. No one's asking her to roll over on anybody or anything. Um, but based off of the timeline with what was put together, it's a concern. We don't know why she's fibbing, or why the family members are saying that. They seem to have a toxic tort kind of relationship. So, um, we just want to, not me, but the private investigator and Detective Gray would like to, because she might know who the guy was. We're trying to identify the guy, correct?
Yeah,
And we're also trying to nail down the timeline, which is crucial. Crucial. There's so many people around her case that has passed away. What are we going to do? Wait till one more passes away? The chance is
right.
less than some finding her. Uh,
Absolutely. Do you have anything to share with that, Carrie?
Um, just that, I've made a couple attempts through people that know her just to get her to come forward, and she's just continuously saying that she doesn't know my sister, which, like you guys just said, she very well knows my sister. Her pictures were in her email. Um, there's
we all
messages.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
also have proof of when she became friends with Brenda on
Right.
Facebook
Right.
and also other things. And we also know that Brenda was telling people that she was going to have a what, $5,000 cash when she left.
Yes,
So there, yeah,
Yes.
it's a concern.
Yeah, she does know her, and she's just avoiding, the questions. And she, all we want to know is, when did you last talk to her? She was around her the time that my sister disappeared. So you have to know something. Your pictures are in her email around that time. Maybe, she was with her prior, maybe a couple days, or maybe, she left with her, or she knows who she left with. She
Right.
definitely knows something to be avoiding, um, my questions and me contacting people that she
Yeah.
knows.
Yeah.
Because if you
I
have
mean,
nothing to
I
hide, you
understand
would.
she's sick, but if she can
Mhm.
talk to other people and she can say she doesn't know her and lie about it, then she can talk to law enforcement.
Right.
But there could be a very valid reason why. I mean, she does have a warrant out for her arrest, in Arizona, I believe, and also
hmm,
Oregon. So, we have to look at that. Maybe that's the reason. Maybe she has that fear. But I plead to her as a human being, um, that I know I can't sleep at night knowing that I did get permission from Carrie and her mother and stuff to reveal that her mother and father are very ill, and the mother was has a broken heart, so their health has declined severely. And my husband promised them to find her before, and I just want to fulfill that wish, even though physically or mentally, considering the circumstances of what I'm in, I still want her to be found. Please do the right thing. That's all I'm
Yes.
asking for.
right.
Yes.
So I want to move on to the second individual. I do not have a picture to show of her at this time, but I know a lot of people probably remember her. She went by the Death Merchant on Facebook. So something to lead up to this other girl is one of a murderer out of Alabama named Bobby Ray Gilbert. Brenda actually, and anybody can, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. She was actually dating dating him and had moved in with his mother. So Brenda knew Bobby Ray Gilbert, who was in the Alabama prison for murder, and had lived with his mother.
He was a serial killer, right? He killed more
He
than
was
one
a serial.
person. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he had
Just to
killed
confirm
multiple
that.
people.
Okay.
Yeah.
He had killed
Yeah.
multiple people as well as when he was incarcerated, he killed somebody. He has since died, I believe, in 2023. He died of a drug overdose while he was in prison. So this girl who went by Jessica Gilbert had been claiming that she was married to Bobby Ray Gilbert. However, that is not true. She was never legally married to him at all. So her real name is Jessica Miller. And Jessica Miller has been known and proven out there that she was using another woman's pictures, claiming to be this woman. However, that's not what she looks like. I do have actual pictures of what she looks like. But one of the reasons why I want to talk about this is because she had posted online saying, to everyone who is concerned about Brenda Sica, I know exactly what happened to her. It's called karma. When you do underhanded, conniving ass shit to everyone you encounter, eventually the universe will balance the fucking scales. Excuse my language, just reading it verbatim. The only thing that happened to Miss Sika was she opened that sporty ass mouth to the wrong person. But do not despair, people. I'm sure an archaeologist will find her. What was it? Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Uh, I don't even remember what the rest of it
It's
was.
disturbing.
It's disturbing. Like, basically, they're going to have to dig her up to find her.
She also
My
has
question
criminal
is,
history, correct, Tatum?
yes.
With assault
Um,
with other women? Yep.
so Jessica Gilbert does have a rap sheet anywhere from theft to drug charges. She was actually, when she was the death merchant, she was contacting these guys in prison, trying to get memorabilia and stuff to sell. But she was basically catfishing these guys in prison. I know for some people, they probably are like, who gives a shit, right? I get it. However, kind of speaks on her character. But my whole thing, and I would love to hear what your guys' thing is. My whole thing is, why would you put that on Facebook? And I'm sure Jessica is shocked that that information is out there, but there's a ton of information out there on Jessica that went by Jessica Gilbert, but her real name is Jessica Miller. That has been proven to be who she is. So, what are your guys' thoughts when all this came about? I just think it's important for people to hear. This is the reason why the detective and the private investigator want to talk to her. Like, what did you know?
Right.
Because Brenda Sica is not a common name out there. So there's no mistake that she's talking about her, because Jessica Miller was in contact with Bobby Ray Gilbert,
Right.
and Brenda dated Bobby Ray Gilbert.
Yeah.
So there's that. What are your guys' opinions on that?
Well, it certainly goes to motive. Brenda got into an altercation with his mother, who that's where she was staying when she first went to Alabama. So there was that animosity or whatever. So who's to say what kind of communications they had or what kind of control he had over her? You know how some of those guys manipulate women into doing
Oh,
things for them on the outside. And considering what we know about her background, ooh, it's certainly a possibility. I'd like to
definitely.
know where her whereabouts was. And was someone used to lure her?
Right.
That's
Carrie, do
my
you have
theory.
any comment on
Um, I was just gonna say about Bobby Ray, in case people are wondering how my sister got connected with him. The
Hmm.
story behind that is that Brenda was studying psychology. She was very interested in, like in criminology. So she would watch the programs where they would interview him, because Bobby Ray, um, he was very, I don't want to say popular in prison, but because also of his artwork. He was an artist, and he was very, even though he was a criminal, he was very like intelligent. And
that?
my sister reached out to him because I believe she was just interested in his stories, like she was doing that like for her, for her school.
Yeah.
So that's how that whole thing came about with her and him. And eventually, I guess, she started writing to him, and he would write back to her. Um, so I'm guessing that's somehow how this Jessica, she found out about my sister. But yes, and then when my sister just decided to move and go to Alabama, she did, when she first went up there, she did stay at his mother's house. And then something happened between my sister and the mother, and then she left. So that's kind of like the backstory of how she,
Yeah, but
started talking to.
yeah, Jessica though knew, based off of that comment, she obviously had conversations with either the mother or Bobby Ray
Yes.
regarding things
Yes.
that maybe
Oh,
had
absolutely.
transpired. So yeah,
Absolutely.
I think that's a very valid point, Carrie.
You just, yeah,
Yep.
that's just not something you say about somebody you don't know, or you don't know if,
Or
something
circumstances.
happened.
Yep.
Exactly. Or the circumstances.
Right.
That's not normal to say that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
And so Bobby Ray was also known as the Snake. That was one of his nicknames that he had. And I guess like more to say about Brenda's case. The thing about Brenda's case is there's so many different directions that her case could have went. Is she a victim of Bobby Ray in some way, even though he was in prison? Did he have something to do with her disappearance? And that's why this Jessica Miller girl put that out there. Does she know something? Now that Bobby Ray is deceased, it's the hopes that maybe Jessica would come forward. And the detective and the PI both have, from my understanding, reached out to her, trying to get a hold of her just to ask, why did you make that comment? Did you ever meet her? But,
Or
where
why did
that,
she say the things that she said?
yeah, why did you say the
well,
things that you said?
yeah, so with that being said, I do remember, um, a little while after that, um, I believe that my mother, somehow we got in contact with her. And it was a very quick conversation. She's like, I don't know anything about her. I'm sorry that I said that, but I don't know anything about her.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. And then she hung up the phone. I think she blocked me. I could never find her again.
Yeah.
But it was a
Now,
very quick, I don't know anything, and that's it.
yeah, and
And
from
that
my
was, yeah.
understanding, she's kind of in the same area as some other people in our case, even though we can't release where that's at. But
Right. Right.
um, a lot of these people are connected to the same area,
Yep.
um,
And the same people. So
and the same people. So there's that. Now, one of the email. Are you ready for me to go to the email?
yeah, go ahead. Do you want to start with like when it was sent and who it was sent by and when it was forwarded, or do you want to, however, I know you spoke to Raven as far as what she wants released and what she doesn't, so I'm going to let you take the floor.
Okay, so this is an email between the married man Jim, who is deceased, um, and Brenda, and the dates are July 14th to and July 16th when these two emails transpired. So Brenda is saying, let me see, because I got to redact some of this. They told me I couldn't say it all. I've been gone 2 weeks and now all of a sudden my mom is worried. LOL. I asked to come back home and live with her, but she blew me off. Not sissy though. If she is worried, tell her I'm okay. I just can't bring my blank in her life right now. She is pregnant and she shouldn't stress about me. I am really fine. The guy I am with is very sweet. He, okay, redacting that part, sorry.
Yeah.
Um, I don't love him, but he is taking care of me and Bowie. The only downside is there's no cell or internet out here, and we have to drive over an hour to get civilization. My old lady dog loves it out here. I'm using my laptop at a place with free Wi Fi, but I haven't checked it in a while. I blanked up and must have locked my Facebook account because I can't get in. I have two favors to ask. First, this guy has legal troubles. My mom had asked if she could do a background check on him and put her off because she would have blanked with me about him and it's none of her business. Later, I might need you if he gets arrested. Secondly, he asked to marry me. I haven't told him I am still legally married in Alabama. If we decided to get married, I may need help with divorce down there. I'm worried about you and your deployment. I only left because I didn't want to be alone in Huntsville, but I wish the peace of the godness of you in a safe return. Okay, I have to go. Tell my mother if she does anything to blank my life, new life, she will regret it. And that I love her and Sissy very much. I am trying to get sober so I can come down to see them in the future. And Jim responded to Brenda, your family is very worried about you. If you don't let someone know that you're okay soon, they're going to file a missing persons report on you, which will invite the cops to find you. Based on our last conversation, I don't think that you want that. So contact someone, please, Jay. So, Carrie, did this really sound like something that Brenda would have sent? Does this sound like
Yes.
your sister? Okay.
Yes. And I've been asked that before.
Mhm.
How do you know it was Brenda? Did it really sound like
Mhm.
her? And I absolutely believe that yes, that was Brenda in the email.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. What about Jim?
Um as far as what he said to her in the email,
Mm-hmm.
um I mean, I don't have, yeah, I mean, I believe that he, that he sent that.
Okay.
I believe that
So,
those are legit email messages between the both of them. If
Yep,
that's what you're asking. Yes, I do.
okay.
I agree.
Now,
Mhm.
these are dated after Brenda went missing.
Yes, I think like a week after.
Right.
Cuz
So,
she Mhm.
But that when she sent those emails, she was actually on a public Wi-Fi in Wichita, Kansas.
so
She
now
was
we
not
have
in Wyoming.
from Huntsville,
Correct.
Alabama, to Wichita, Kansas, and
Without a
then
vehicle. That's another thing with
yeah,
the moving. How did she move? How did she move the furniture? I mean, uh, there's no storage unit that we're aware of, right?
no,
There's no vehicle that we're aware of. I mean, we have a potential vehicle, but we can't discuss parts of
that
that because that could jeopardize the investigation. I think Raven wants to leave that out. But go ahead. I'll let you finish. I
yeah.
just
The
think
thing
that that
when
point
she
was
moved out of Overlook apartments is just really so. If there's anybody that lived that sees this podcast and you lived in Overlook apartments during that time of Brenda, we would, you know, law enforcement and the private investigator would love to be able to talk to you to see if you saw anything, witness anything, or maybe you came across Brenda before she moved. And I can't say enough about there's no way she moved by herself. There's absolutely no way
no
she
vehicle.
was
Yeah.
able to clear that apartment with the heavy furniture. And then later, when law enforcement, after she's reported missing and everything, it's the only thing in there are the keys.
Right. Yeah, she had a
No
full
furniture.
full apartment. She had furniture, she had a bedroom set.
Mhm.
It's not like she just had a few things. She had like a full furnished, you know, I think it was a two
Apartment.
bedroom apartment. Yes.
Yeah, and nothing was left behind. Not even a piece of paper. It was cleaned
Right. Yeah.
completely out.
Yes. The investigator did go to the apartment
Mhm.
afterwards and he did, confirm that, that it was empty, the
Yeah.
apartment she was staying in.
And Jimmy even said that she could come back and stay in the apartment because the lease was for the year, correct?
That's correct.
Yep.
Mhm. So there's been rumors that she ended up in Wyoming. Correct?
Yes.
I mean, there's a speculation and rumors, but nothing to, I guess, concrete proof or have the evidence to back it up. The other stuff that we put out, we have evidence to back it up, just based off of the email of what she said, that we have to go by her words.
Mm-hmm.
So you figure it's about an hour wherever she was from Wichita to, do that scope. It could be just about anywhere. And who knows, something could have happened to her after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
This is just
And there's been multiple IP pings to the Wichita area in
correct.
Kansas.
Correct.
Multiple. And we have to remember the fact that she was military. And a
Yep.
lot of people that she was around were military, including Jim. He was in the military and had been deployed here and there. Um, in his background, even though he was married, um, Brenda was not the only woman that he had gotten involved with.
Correct. But my concern is the bashing on publicly on Facebook with certain things, and also telling everybody that she had 5,000, that he was giving her $5,000. I mean, anyone could have lured her and did
Mm-hmm.
something. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't base off that factual, because it's just not. It's not like Brenda, and I really truly believe this. I've known her family probably since what, 2021, Carrie,
Yes.
and from what I've seen, she would have never, if anything, regardless of being mad, she said, "I still love them. I'm working on getting." But she would have reached out to them or
Yeah.
got a way to reach out to them.
Yeah, she would have definitely, contacted us somehow. Like, okay, she didn't call me, but we were responding by email. So she would have continued that. Even if she had to drive, like she said, an hour, to get around Wi-Fi or civilization, she would have still found a way to contact me.
Oh, especially with her military training,
Yes,
it would have. No,
absolutely.
And it
yeah,
wasn't
I
like
agree.
Brenda to go long periods of time without contacting family. Am I correct?
No,
Right. Correct. I
She was
mean,
pretty consistent on it, right? For the most
right.
part.
Yes. I mean, there's times like I wouldn't, maybe talk to her for a few days, but that was it,
And
you
I think
know.
that's important for people to know, like, especially not just in Brenda's case, but a lot of cases, these people were in contact pretty consistently with somebody and their loved one, and then just all of a sudden one day, nothing.
Right.
That's not normal. I don't care if they're an adult or not. That's not normal behavior. So one of the is there anything else you guys want to put out about that email? Um,
can you restate phrase that? I'm sorry.
is there anything else that you want to discuss on about the email before we move on?
No, I think that's. I think you covered everything that she wanted covered.
Right.
Okay. So, like we said, there has been some new development in her case. Some of this stuff has been up from, I don't want to say the beginning, but back a little bit. But Wyoming has been one of the trails that have been on Brenda's case. Is that here she's saying in this email that I'm with somebody. I'm with a gentleman that
Right.
he takes care of me.
Even
He wants
having his name could be useful.
Right. He wants to marry me. He's taking care of me and Bowie, my dog. Again, I can't say enough that Brenda would not have went anywhere without that dog. You know, she loved her
It's
animals.
true.
Well,
Yes,
my
she did.
You
fear is maybe he's seen. I know part of that email was redacted and we can't bring it up,
know?
but my fear is he could have seen some of the things that she wrote in there and got very upset. So
Oh,
Right.
there's multiple things that could have happened here. So we're just
mhm,
missing the pieces, the
Yeah,
puzzle
right.
pieces.
we need to find who was the man that
Right.
she went to Wyoming with.
Right.
Who
Mhm.
was she with? Who was the guy she was referring to? Who was she living
Montana is
out?
potential as well.
Absolutely.
Montana is a state of interest. Oregon is a state of
Yes.
interest. Indiana is a state of
Yes.
interest. Kentucky's a state of interest. And
Yes.
Colorado is a state of interest. In
Correct.
California,
So yeah, so when
a
we say
lot.
that Brenda's case, there's so many places, Alabama, Tennessee, Florida, like she has been known to be in these places, and again, Brenda was a very bright individual, I would say. Like she would talk to anybody. She was a
Very
bartender,
intelligent. Yep, very
very
intelligent.
intelligent, very kind,
Mhm.
very beautiful, woman. She had, no problem talking to anybody. And I want to bring up the bartender thing. So being a bartender, you could kind of move around or whatever. So she worked in Alabama. She worked at Babe's Lounge and
Correct.
Foxy. There is a possibility in Sheridan, Wyoming. So I really, this was something that the private investigator and stuff had wanted to share. If anybody in the Sheridan, Wyoming, because there's a possibility that she was in Sheridan, Wyoming, and the possibility that she may have worked at a bar there called the Crazy Woman, I believe. Does that sound right, Carrie? Crazy
Um,
Woman? Something. It was crazy something.
Saloon, Crazy Saloon.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
crazy.
it's Crazy Woman Saloon, I believe.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so there's that possibility that maybe someone in the Sheridan, Wyoming area may have seen her, may have talked to her, you
Even
know.
though Raven's not a private investigator, I think in Wyoming, I think she can act as a private investigator there.
Yeah,
She is looking into that avenue, from what I understand.
yeah,
But
in
someone could know something, like you said.
yeah, in Wyoming there is no regulation on private investigators.
Right.
Anybody can go there. You don't have to be licensed in that state because they have none.
I think
So
she also confirmed with law enforcement as well.
yes, absolutely. So um, one thing that Raven and Detective Gray want people to know is you can be anonymous. Reach out. These are the phone numbers to contact. Also, if you want to reach out on Guardian Voice, I will move that information on to law enforcement as well. But you can be anonymous because, like we kind of said in the beginning, there are some dangerous elements
Yeah.
in Brenda's case
Yeah.
that is concerning. You know, of what could have possibly happened, to Brenda or the element that was going in and out of these bars and stuff. So there
Mhm.
is a dangerous, potential in those. But Sheridan, Wyoming is definitely, something that, if anybody frequent the bars, because Sheridan, I don't believe is very big from my understanding of a town.
Right.
So someone may have seen her, noticed something, and when you look at the picture that we have up about Brenda, Brenda was not a very big woman. She was 5 foot tall,
She's
a
very
100 pounds.
petite. Yeah, she's very petite.
She's very tiny,
Hmm.
and that's something that people have to, look at is she wasn't very big.
Well,
But
some of
like I
these
said,
areas that are popping up, Tatum, seem to match areas. Like if you go to Brenda's Facebook, you'll see her talking about Yellowstone, wanting to go to Yellowstone
mhm,
State Park.
mhm,
Just like conversations like that, um, which brings you into those areas.
mhm.
So,
And a lot of the areas where that they said we could release are wooded areas. So people that were transient, these were very common places for transient people to
Right.
go as well. Not to mention some other cases that are out there that we have individuals that are matching same locations that there could be a
right.
connection with other
Yeah.
cases out
Yeah, that's what Raven said. That this case potentially may be connected to other missing persons cases.
there. Absolutely.
Same elements, I guess, from what I
Mm,
understand.
yeah. What else do we need to discuss about Brenda's case?
It's just,
Again, I want to appeal to the public, to, if not for anyone, if not for anything, please, like, if you know something, come forward to law enforcement or the private
yes.
investigator. Um,
If you've seen her, if you've seen her in Wyoming, if you've seen Brenda, you've seen her. You know, she has tattoos. She's, not your average looking, woman. She has long dark black hair, tattoos, very petite. She's very talkative. If you've met her, you won't forget her. So,
but the family
um
needs help. Your family needs help, right? You need people to come forward, step
yes,
up,
absolutely.
web sleuths, whatever you guys can do. Um, I do want to say that when Carrie asked Joe to take on Brenda's case, um, the thoroughness of what this family has done since day
Oh,
one, knowing really hasn't gotten the attention that it deserves. Maybe it's not pleasurable for some people or whatever, or people might be judgy. Um, Look at her as a person. Nobody is perfect.
no.
Nobody is going to do, everyone, no one's perfect. And everyone lives in glass houses. You know what I'm saying? Like, I deal with that on a constant battle. But they have done so much work on this case that we probably wouldn't be where we are, or the private investigator that is doing this pro bono would not be where they are if it wasn't for her family. So they deserve you to fight for her sister.
Yes,
Hmm.
She
I
signed up to risk her life for this country. We need to stand up and fight for her. I can't do
So,
it. I physically can't do it. You know that.
I just
so
think that somebody out there, somebody knows something. Somebody saw
absolutely.
her, somebody knows who
Yeah.
she left with. Somebody might have saw her working in a bar in Wyoming. Um, I just
And
I
they
just
can remain
know.
anonymous, right, Carrie?
Absolutely.
We
Yes,
don't
you
care
could
about the, I
remain
think we're at the point where
anonymous.
no criminality, we don't care. We just want to know, or they just want to know um where she is, or where, what
Right. Have
You
you
know, to
happened
help
seen
with
her?
this
Have
case.
you talked
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
her? Have you heard anything about her? Have you heard people talking about her?
Yep.
You know, do you know somebody that you thought said something? Any little clue, any little hint, anything is nothing's too small.
What about the trip to Tennessee with Sandra North? Let's bring that up about the picture in the bar. I agree with you that that was Brenda in that photo, even though it was prior to the emails. But if you look at the timeline or liner, the way the timeline, the way the private investigator showed me the way it goes, it's a possibility she never even came back from Tennessee. No one ever saw her move out of that apartment.
mhm.
Right. And that
And multiple
mhm.
conversations through Facebook, she clearly states that she couldn't get into her Facebook. So how were these communications happening if she couldn't get into her Facebook? Because some of it doesn't make any sense to me.
Right,
It may have been compromised, is what I'm saying.
right.
People need to consider that.
And there has been a possibility that someone else had her phone
Yep.
and her
Right.
laptop,
Right.
you know.
You just
So that's
don't
something
know.
out there too. We just don't know. So I recently, and we'll come back to this, but I want to share. I recently just released a video that I put together for Brenda. Has a lot of photos of her that a lot of people haven't seen before that might be helpful, but also to try to get more of a feel, because my biggest thing as being an advocate is the missing are human beings. They are somebody's daughter, they're somebody's mother, son, mama, whatever, and I think a lot of times for these cases that are older, like Brenda's case is from 2017, people forget that who they are. And one of the things is being able to relate to these individuals, be able to become invested. And I'm hoping by putting out this video that people will be more invested in Brenda's case, because like, Nancy has said, her family deserves to have answers. They deserve to have their sister and daughter brought back home. Brenda would not have been a person that would just walked off of life and left her family behind. That was not who she was, despite all the challenges she may have had. And that's one thing too, to bring up, like the veterans thing. My passion for veterans is these people go through such tremendous psychological trauma, and stuff, and we just leave them abandoned. And you will see there are multiple veterans out there that are missing. And I'm sorry, but these guys fought for our country, made sacrifices for their country. And when they disappear, people just don't, even when they don't disappear, they're not treated right. And I'm sorry, but I'm not going to let Brenda's voice not be heard, because she deserves to be heard. She deserves to have someone find her, because she is loved. She, again, her mother and her father are going through stuff. And so, Brenda, if you're out there and you see this, please reach out. Please reach out to law enforcement, reach out to your sister, your mom, Raven, anybody, because no matter what condition, we want to just know that you're okay. And if there's somebody, if she's not okay, somebody out there knows something, somebody knows something. And we just want to know, at the end of the day, me as an advocate, I just want to bring the missing home. All that other stuff is, I mean, that's whatever. But my major thing is I want to be able to help Brenda to come home to her mother, to her sister, her father, her loved ones. That's what I want to see. So I want to share this video. It is out on Guardian page. It's on missing persons alerts on multiple pages and stuff, but I wanted to share it here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and share that. Okay. And then we'll wrap up.
Okay.
All right. My bad.
All right.
There we go.
So are we still on?
Yeah.
I mean, we're still live. Oh, okay.
Absolutely, we're still live.
I wanted you to point out, maybe Sandra also goes by other last names, and she got married in 2021, correct?
Yes, Wagner.
Yeah.
She
Right.
goes by
Yes.
Wagner. And then
Or Overton, right? Correct?
or Overton. She has a son that was killed.
Unfortunately.
Yes. So
That's
and
I
that
can only
ties
imagine. Oh,
ties
and
Sandra into
almost
Wisconsin.
like the boyfriend she was with is deceased now too, right? Jimmy's deceased, and so is
Yes.
the guy she was
Yes.
married to in Alabama. So we are pleading that someone please come forward.
Yeah.
Yes. Please come forward. Like I said, the littlest, smallest hint, lead, you've heard something, you've seen her, you think you've seen her, you're not quite sure, whatever it is.
And like we said, there is movement in her case since the private investigator has gotten involved.
Yep.
There's been a lot more movement into her case. It's just there's so many trails,
Mm,
you know.
yes.
And the tip that came out in 2024 seems to be very promising, I would say. It's just a matter of connecting the dots. Like, again, we would, law enforcement and the private investigator would like to talk to Sandra North. They would like to talk to Jessica Miller, to see. So, maybe you could cross them, they could cross some stuff off, or
Right.
see, because unfortunately, there have been several people that have been connected to Brenda um, at some point in her life that are no longer around to ask those questions to,
That's my
you
concern.
know,
Mm,
Yeah.
you
correct.
know, but definitely the private investigator, her family, law enforcement, we're not going to, they're not going to let this rest. They're going to keep pushing.
Yes, absolutely.
So, is there anything else you guys would like to share? Like I said, anybody watching this podcast, please share the podcast. Please show the video out.
I do want them to reach out to law enforcement or the private investigator and not
Absolutely.
to me. I'm just stepping in
Right.
to release some of the information and to kind of advocate a little bit for Brenda and the family.
Hmm.
They deserve
So,
it.
yeah, absolutely. Her family are wonderful people. So, definitely. And
Yeah.
Nancy, thank you for being able. That's my
I don't know
bad.
what happened.
That was
What
me.
happened?
I got to keep my hands up, I guess, so I
No,
don't
that's
touch them.
okay. Your finger.
But I really want to thank you, Nancy, for like coming on. You have not been in the public eye for quite some time. So, I
Well, a
mean, to
lot of
me, it
people don't
means
really know what happened, but it does really
right,
doesn't matter.
right. But my
Yes,
thing is like for you to not be out in the public eye and to set all of the stuff that had happened, back because you love this family and you want this family's
yes.
voice to be heard and Brenda's voice. I appreciate your strength to come forward
It was
to
one of
help
Joe's
out.
wishes on his deathbed.
Yeah,
Yes.
you
I
know,
appreciate it too, both of you.
Sorry.
Thank you.
yeah, absolutely. Nothing to be sorry about, but it just shows the type of individual that you are. And so I want people to know that um, I really appreciate you coming out and supporting this family the way you
Of
have,
course. Of course.
you
Yes,
know, and,
I'm also
absolutely.
Brenda's family, Carrie, you and your mother are wonderful people.
Thank
I'm
you.
honored that you guys would let me do this, get it out there for you guys, and do anything. So,
Thank
Brenda,
you.
if you're out
Thank you
there
so
and
much.
you're welcome. Brenda, if you are out there, please reach out. You can reach out to Guardian, you can reach out to Raven, you can reach out to Detective Gray, reach out to your family. Please let us know if anybody has information. Like I said, her case is not cold. Her case is moving, but we want to
Yes.
keep her out there. And anybody that has any information, like I said, Raven and Detective Grave, we're not, they're not trying to jam people up. Me doing this podcast, I'm not trying to jam people up. I just want people to come forward and just let us know. Have you seen her? Did you see her? I don't care if it was back in 2017, 18,
Right.
19. I
Yes.
don't care when.
you
They
might
don't
have
care.
that little bit of information.
Yeah, her family doesn't care when. Just anything could give the full break that, the people working on the case need to move forward to find her and locate her.
Right. Yes. It doesn't
And
matter if it was.
she shouldn't be a fear either,
No.
regardless of what her circumstances are. Your family loves you very, very much. I mean, she's been missing since 2017. You have fought for her every single day
Mhm.
since then.
I will
Yes.
have to say
I
her
find,
family
yeah,
has not stopped
or
working
wavered.
to find her,
No, they've
you
even
know.
driven
Yes.
to our home several times and worked on the case. So
Mhm.
Yes.
Yep.
they deserve your
Carrie,
help
Yes, we have.
also.
do you have anything else that you would like to say? If there's something like if Brenda was listening, is there anything you would like to say to her?
Just please call us. Please, you know where mom's house is. You know where you can get my number on Facebook. You have the contacts here. Even if you just want to call and say I'm okay, but I can't talk to you right now, just please just call somebody. Call
Can I ask you
somebody.
a question, Carrie?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think in your? I know from reading personal stuff, and I thank you for trusting and sharing them with me. That you and your sister were very, very close. What do you feel in your hearts of hearts
Uh,
with
I just,
everything?
I just honestly
No,
feel that
we've had this conversation, but I think it's important that you know your sister. You know what I'm saying? You know the way she operates and moves and speaks to people and her contact with you. What do you feel?
I honestly just feel that, she, A was lured
Yep.
by this
I believe
Sandra
that.
North,
Yep. I believe.
um maybe off the grid somewhere,
Yep.
and she did something to her, or this man might have been, in company with Sandra North. They might have all been together. I honestly feel that if my sister was able to contact me, she would. Um, she could be being held against her will. She could
Yep.
be lost and homeless out there. Um, or somebody, hurt her, and, she's not here, and she's just somewhere waiting to be found. It's one of the three. Because if she was able to contact me, she would.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
She
that
definitely
that's
would.
that's what I was trying. I know you know that.
Mm-hmm.
You've said that to me several times, and I
Yes.
agree with you. And I think it's important for the people that are listening or the people that
Mhm.
may want to help need to know that.
Yes. She absolutely, absolutely would have
I
contacted
think
me.
it's strange. I do think it's strange that she doesn't want to. That she says she doesn't know her because we know for a fact that she does.
Oh yeah, that yeah.
I mean, we
Sandra
have
North,
evidence like
yes.
out the butt on that. I'm not going to speculate. She's got the other reason why I also wanted to give the other names. She's got multiple Facebooks, um, even
Hmm.
family members. We just don't want one more person to die. And I've seen Sandra North's Facebook. She talks about God all the time and this and that. If you know something and you're passing, it's going to be up to you, honey. And I want to really, really drill this in. I might sound mean or weird, but do the right thing.
Absolutely.
Or I
Yeah.
feel I will pray for
Yes.
your soul. That's all I
Do
know.
the right
If you
thing.
have information, yes, do the right thing.
Right. And if you don't have information, then
Right,
just say you don't know.
right.
Right.
By you, blocking me and hiding and changing your Facebook is just making you look guilty.
Absolutely.
Oh, and denying of knowing her where we have
Exactly.
solid evidence. I mean, this isn't even just like
Yes.
speculative. This is solid evidence. We know for a fact that she was with Sandra North from June 4th on maybe even 2 weeks. And some of the people, like I said, so many people surrounding this case, even the Tennessee aspect, are not deceased.
Yeah.
Do the right thing. That's all I'm asking.
Yes.
Think if
Absolutely.
it was your kid. What if you're, I do, and I do feel sorry. Like I did read about her son, and my heart breaks for that because anyone
Absolutely.
that has kids would have some kind of emotion to that, regardless of any circumstances. Your son got justice. Your son's killer
Yeah.
got justice. I'm sorry that happened, but
Absolutely.
I don't know if she knows
At
something.
least you
You
know.
know me, I'm religious. I know, I don't, it's up to God to decide what someone's karma or something is, because only He knows what's in your heart. But I would definitely think twice about that. I couldn't
Hmm.
live with myself. I couldn't sleep at night, to be honest with you,
Right.
Right.
if it was me.
Okay. All right. If there's nothing else, like I said, Nancy, thank you so much for coming
So well,
on, being a support for Brenda and her family
absolutely.
and
Yes.
stuff,
Thank you.
and helping, out again, especially where you're retired, and to take time out of your retirement to, come out here and
I
everything.
don't know if you
And,
really want to call it retirement. Learning
but
how to walk and stuff all over again.
yeah,
It's been a struggle.
it's
I'll
really
get
an
there.
honor to have you come on and
I
speak. You know what I
appreciate
mean? So
I love
it's
this family more than life itself.
Oh,
And
thank
like I
absolutely.
you.
said,
We
I
love you
made
too.
promises to my husband. At least now
Mhm.
we got it with the private investigator, and we feel that there's some movement going. So that's good.
Yes.
And Carrie, again, I know this is so hard
And
for
I love
you
you.
and your family. You and your family and stuff. You guys are such wonderful people. I feel
Thank
too
you.
honored that you allow me to put stuff out about your sister and to get information out there for her. And hopefully, with the new private investigator and Detective Gray and all the hard work you do and everything, and the hard work that Joe and Nancy has done prior to this, that we'll get the answers that you guys want and
Yes.
be able to bring Brenda home. So I appreciate you guys taking time out of your day and your life to, keep Brenda out there.
Well, I
Like
appreciate you. Thank you.
you are most
Both of
welcome.
you.
And you never know, we may do a little bit follow up. You never know. So,
Let's hope.
That'd be
um,
great. I appreciate
yep.
it.
All right. Well, like I said, anybody out there, please share this podcast. Please share the video that we have. Please
Does,
share her flyer.
does anyone have any questions, Tatum?
Oh, wait a minute. Hang on.
Yeah, I just want to let's check to make sure there's no
One of them
questions.
said, I pray she gets found safe. So we haven't had any
Thank you.
questions,
Okay.
but if anybody has questions, please feel free to post them or send your questions to Guardian Voice of the Missing. You can send a email or a message, and we'll be able to try to answer it to the best of our ability, or you can put the questions underneath the podcast. So I hope everybody has a blessed rest of their
Thank
evening,
you so
and thank
much,
you
Tatum.
so
Thank you,
much.
Judy.
You are
Yes.
welcome.
Thank you. I
All right.
appreciate you both so
Oh,
much.
love you.
You're
God bless
welcome.
you for what you guys do to help
Absolutely. Same to you.
families. Thank
I
you.
will continue to pray for both of you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Bye.